I don't know if I'm going to do that one.
No, absolutely not.
All right.
Okay.
Back again. All right, let's do it.
Have I lost any? I don't think so.
I know it, maybe 2.
Okay.
I was like, she's not going to do it a third time.
I almost did.
And I will. Okay, here we
We're
go.
just going to introduce every single topic, actually.
It's fine.
That's the new thing.
It's fine. It's just anxiety.
It's fine.
Okay, I'll be honest. Unfortunately, your wedding day is not all about you.
It's not?
Didn't you know that?
Dang it.
Say that with like a full asterisk sarcasm-ish behind it as well. But
If you want it to be just about you, you should just elope and just make it just the 2 of you. Otherwise, there are unfortunately a lot of other people involved.
yeah,
The biggest one would be probably your family,
parents,
siblings,
people
aunts,
writing the check.
people writing the check.
Yeah,
That definitely adds a little bit of chaos and entitlement.
And I want it to be like very specific. Yes, a wedding day is about you. When we were talking about this and trying to like come up with like how to explain this, you know, we talk a lot about guest behavior, but I think we're going to niche it down into the people that surround you, because that's who we deal with a lot on a wedding day.
Yeah.
And so
sometimes, would you say sometimes like even equally or more than the couple? Because the couple like goes and does other things, and then we are like, any time that you are not directly in front of us, most of the time someone else from your wedding is in front of us that we're like, dealing with.
Yeah. And I don't want to say like dealing with.
Not in a like bad dealing with.
I hate saying the word like servicing.
We have to
we're
deal
service
with them.
people.
But like we are interacting with your guests and your family
A lot.
the whole day.
Yeah.
From the time that and your other vendors, but like specifically your friends and family, we are we are interacting with. I'm going to replace that word.
Yeah, let's do that. Interacting with. And I think how we finally niched it down, I was going, of course, through threads. So let's let's do a thread lightly, okay?
Lightly.
So came across this one and said, here's a way to set boundaries with family members who give money for your wedding day. Apply that money to a specific vendor and then include that family member in the process. For example, I'm going to go a little ad lib on here. Like, thank you, Grandma, for the check, for the $5,000 check. This is going to go to bartending. Do you want to help in this bartending process? Would you like to be included in the meetings? You know, or like a drink named after you or whatever.
And then that's actually kind of cute.
Do you like? Yeah. So I thought I actually had saved it. I think maybe it was deleted or something. I can't find it again. But it was so interesting. I was like, that is such a niche way to include people who want to be included, because there are, I think as Kinsey had said it in her interview with us, that, you know, when people hand over money, that does come with potentially expectations, demands, you know, a way to insert themselves into places that you may or may not want them to be in.
Yeah.
And then
just kind of narrows them down into like one specific thing instead of like, here's a $5,000 check. I'm assuming that I have now an opinion about the whole wedding.
Right.
Because I gave
because I gave money to that. Now I can talk about the ceremony. I can talk about the DJ. I can talk about whatever. So I thought that was like, hey, thank you, Mima. We are applying it to catering. Do you want to come with us to our catering meeting? And is there anything that you really want to include in that? And then keep them there with that. I thought that was brilliant.
I think that's really smart, because then also the ball then goes in their court. And if they say, no, thank you, I don't want to be involved, then that's their one and only little like sliver of thing.
Yes.
And then, okay, well, we gave you the chance and you don't want to do it.
And
That's
maybe
totally
they hand you a check and you're like, yes, I want you to be involved in all the things.
Yeah.
That could feel a little overwhelming, I would think. I don't know how much you want in that decision-making process.
I think like there's an element too of like, if you don't want involvement, I think you need to be very prepared to be like, hey, thank you so much for this money. If this is what it's going toward, but we've got it covered. Like, thank you so much. Now we're going to be able to like have the bartender that we really wanted.
Yeah.
And still like making a connection of like, your money was not just like dumped in a pot. We really, really appreciate you.
Yes. And because of you, we can now do this.
And when you're at the wedding enjoying a drink, like, oh my gosh, you paid for that. Thank you so much.
Exactly. Like, just a little sip of some champagne.
I think people want to feel, I'm putting myself in the place of like, if I was a contributor and I'm putting money into a pot, I think I don't want to feel forgotten. Just like you get a thank you card when you give a bridal shower gift or you give a wedding gift or whatever. I think the acknowledgement of like, hey, this was a significant thing that you did. Thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate it. And now we're able to have this really cool thing because of you.
Yeah.
So.
But there's also like, when I think back to my wedding, like, for example, so my parents are divorced. They were divorced at that time. And my dad gave me some money. My mom wrote me a check. They were both of very much the same mindset. Like, this is yours, do what you will. You are grown as human. You can do whatever decisions, just tell us where to be and what to do or whatever. That was a little bit different from my husband's side. They were like, tell us what to do specifically. Like, rehearsal dinner is going to be on my mother-in-law, and then other people are going to be helping in other things. And I felt like it worked out very well for us.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have felt, and my family isn't really particularly like this, if somebody just handed a check and then was like, what are you doing with this?
Yeah.
What are you doing with that?
Give me the answer of like what's actually happening. Yeah.
I think would be very overwhelming in a sense, and I wouldn't want that sort of umbrella over my own self.
Same.
So
totally.
that would be.
Yeah. And
I don't know if that's. Are you feeling that?
Yeah, we honestly, we did not expect any parental financial involvement.
Okay.
We have received like a small amount, and we are very, very grateful for that. And honestly, like, because I've been not expecting, I also have not been really good at like involving and like asking, because I'm just like, oh, like, if you want to give some money, you'll give some money or whatever.
Right.
But I think like, because I've not communicated, there's been a like, well, we don't really know what to do or how to help. And I think like, even if you're not expecting money, I think parents and family or just your close people do want to help in some capacity. And so I feel like it's not been maybe because we're a little older also, and like, we're just like paying for it.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, but I don't think that it's this expectation that our parents are paying for it at this point. That's different for everyone. That's just genuinely us. We're just paying for it ourselves. But when we received that money, we were able to be like, hey, this is actually going toward our wedding credit card that we've just been putting things on. So like, thank you. Like, that's like significant. And now we're able to fill it up again.
You're like, we're just going to swipe that card one more time. Look at that.
But like, it was this huge, like, we did not expect this. Like, we're so grateful for it. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's like people, like, I have a lot of friends and also brides currently that like their parents give them a big chunk of money and they're like, hey, put this toward your wedding, or go elope and take this money and use it on a down payment, or go on a really great honeymoon or whatever.
Yeah.
So I really like those like open-ended, like, this is just our gift to you, our child who's getting married, and do with it what you will. Like, whatever you want to do.
I mean, I have definitely my own opinions on that for sure. I think if you are an adult and you're getting married and you're making a decision to be with somebody for the rest of your life, as a parent, you know, here's some money, do with it what you will. I could also understand then I am a parent as well.
I was going to say, like, as a parent,
I'm like, I'm handing you this money. Can I just like check in to make sure you're using it responsibly?
Yeah.
Like, it's just not going to get blown on something.
Things.
I don't know. So there's a lot of dynamics there. But I think what started this topic and that started this episode is, you know, when we talk about behavior or things that we see on a wedding day, we are navigating, interacting with, talking to so many people on a wedding day that goes beyond just the couple.
Yes, beyond. Like, beyond.
From pre-emails, right? So maybe emailing, checking in, timeline check-ins, that sort of stuff, invoicing, contracts. A little bit, but then a lot of it is on the wedding day. Yeah. Like, we are servicing so many people. So So I don't know where we're going to start that conversation at, but
I think like, how much do you want if you're at square one and you're planning, how much do you want involvement? Like, are you going to be really stressed out with a bunch of family involvement? Is that going to stress you out on the wedding day? Is it going to stress you out in the process? Are you and your mom or your dad or whoever very, very close, and you want them to be super involved and come to meetings with you? And I've had both, and I've had like a bride's mom be just as involved as the bride. And then I've also like not met any of the parental units until the wedding day, and they're very hands off.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, we're here for our kid's big day, and like, whatever, tell us wherever to be. And we're like,
Sally,
great, amazing.
like,
so I think there's like all different levels. I think it comes down to the big question of, what do you want? Do you want involvement or not involvement? And also being aware that even if you don't want any involvement, there's still going to be involvement.
There's still going to be
some
involvement.
level. And what does that look like?
Okay, we're going to take a quick break to talk about our sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by Chop Chop Beauty Club.
My name is Samantha, and I'm the owner and creative director of Chop Chop Beauty Club. We are a luxury on-site hair and makeup team, and we make sure that not only is your wedding day service exactly what you're looking for, but we work really hard on the back end to make sure that the whole booking and scheduling process is seamless. I like to say that we are a set it and forget it type of company. You have so many things that you are dealing with when you're planning a wedding. You're booking photographers, you're booking catering, things like that. We don't want to be one more thing on your to-do list. So we have all of our communication perfectly timed out, so you never have to reach out to us. We will always reach out to you for whatever milestone is around the corner. Our genderless and all-inclusive service menu ensures that you will get exactly the service that is for you. Whether that is a more skincare forward makeup service, if you don't really like to wear a lot of makeup, or if you need to rent hair extensions, our Dream Hair Club is for you. So we have all the tips and tricks to make your wedding or special event perfect.
So thank you, Sam, for providing incredible services for brides and grooms everywhere. We absolutely adore you. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I know you had a bunch of notes.
Yeah.
Because my brain can go
So many different ways.
so many different ways. And maybe while you're looking that up, I will say, let's switch it to vendor side real quick.
Yeah.
You know, when you get inquiries, and maybe this is a good question. When you get the inquiry that says, I am mom of the bride, or I am or maybe the sister of the groom, and I'm doing the shopping for them for the photographer.
Yeah.
Is there an initial like
I want to talk to the bride. I want to talk to the couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And I've been pleasantly surprised in positive ways, like where I've only communicated with the bride's mom and wondered how it was going to play out. And really, it was just a very nonchalant bride who just she had her very specific list of what she wanted in a photographer, and her mom went and did like all of the initial work and then brought the options to the bride, and the bride picked.
Yes.
So there was like back end involvement that I didn't know about at the time. And then upon meeting the bride, she was one of my favorite brides last year.
Yeah.
Like, loved her so much. She just didn't really care that much about like who was who and who was there. Like, she just cared that there was good quality, cared that like their personalities were going to jive. But beyond that, she was like, I don't want to be stressed by trying to sort through and weed through all the bits.
Well, and I'd say that's a lot of it is, you know, like we have couples who are like becoming doctors and nurses and like are really busy in their professional life, who are like graduate, like a lot of them who are like graduating in May, getting married in June. I mean, they're in like clinicals, they're doing a whole bunch of stuff. And so you have these lovely family members who are actively searching for vendors to help them.
Yeah.
I think my brain always wants to come back around like, will you like me?
Yeah. Yeah.
When we get to the wedding day, like, do you see the work that I've done, and will there be questions post-wedding that I have to answer because they weren't answered on the front end?
It gives me a lot of anxiety to not communicate with the bride at all.
Yeah.
And in those scenarios, I have not communicated with the bride, not a single time before the wedding. Excuse me, not because I didn't like offer that, but because she just wasn't interested.
How do you feel about that when you go in? Is there, to me, that's full anxiety.
I think it was a little bit of anxiety of unknown, because I can only read the person's expectations that I've talked to. I can't read your mind of expectations as the couple. But I mean, knock on wood, like it worked out. I just was I was anxious.
Well, then in my head, and I don't want it to be like poo-pooing on like people who are doing that, because, for example, a lot of the weddings, especially with like heterosexual weddings, I'm usually talking only with the bride, right? It's very rarely that the groom comes into the scenario. So I don't want to say, oh, I have so much anxiety because I haven't talked to him.
Yes.
And so much anxiety because I haven't talked to them. I think that level of expectation on I'm taking photos. Yes. Thank you, sister of the groom, for connecting with me.
Yeah.
The product I am providing, though, is not for you. It is for the bride and the groom, or the wedding couple, the bride and the bride, the groom and the groom. It's for them.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's where the anxiety comes. Like, I need at least one of you to see the work provided and like that.
They really don't care, but I don't know if I can trust that they really don't care until I am there.
Yes, right. You're like, please, are you caring, or how are you caring?
Because truly, like, when I think about this specific couple, she genuinely did not care. She did not care about what photographer. She knew that she wanted good photos. She didn't care that we were buddy. It didn't matter to her.
Yeah.
Our personalities worked really well together.
Yeah.
It was a smaller, shorter, more micro wedding, but that was not having a close relationship with her photographer. It just wasn't a thing. It just didn't matter. So I feel like it's like, okay, I can fulfill a good job though.
Yeah.
If you're hiring a photographer that will take true to life coloring, edits, and be there and be on time and be a good vendor, then I'm your girl. And I think that that's like what the boxes fit, and I fulfilled that. But it was a little
just from like from an inquiry standpoint and beyond. Of course, we're talking money and invoicing and all that other stuff. There's always that just a little bit like, ooh, but I still want to talk to them.
I think over communication, like last episode or episodes back with Sammy Scott, like he mentioned, like overly communicating is never a bad thing.
Correct.
If so taking it back, if your family member is doing the vendor scouting for you, I think that just touching base with your vendor for yourself and for them, just to be on the same page, even if your mom or sister or aunt is asking all the right questions, they're not in your brain. So for the peace of mind of both yourself and, but honestly, there are some weddings too that I barely speak to the couple. I'm speaking to just the planner.
Yeah. Or sometimes you send like a little inquiry for your family. They do everything. They're not overly communicating. Yeah. Like they do all the things, check, like they're checking the boxes. You get there and the day goes fine and you vomit. You send photos and they're like, that's it.
Yeah. So I think it just depends on like your personality type as a bride. And it is a risk. I think my like warning label is if you are having someone else facilitate the vendor scouting, there is a risk that you may not get exactly what you want, or there may be some communication lost in the mix.
Yeah. Did you have that as like a start?
No, that just was in my brain. That was just to like bounce off of what you're saying.
I think the first thing that I have is really the parents paying and what say do they get, but also then complicating it more is like if you have multiple parents, if you have step parents involved, if you have divorced parents, if you have multiple parental units now that are involved, there can be some like unspoken expectations. And I think that like just knowing that can be complicated. Do you see any of those?
Yeah. Well, have
you ever seen family complications?
Well, I think that's what you like when I see your notes here. Unspoken expectations. Yep. Okay. I think just in general on a wedding day, if you are expecting something to happen, I need you to know it's going to happen. Like, for example, I expect my catering staff to bring the knives and the forks.
Yeah.
Is that actually what's going to happen?
Have you actually communicated that?
Have you communicated that?
You asked?
I would say expectation-wise on our side of things, when we are, for example, like entering a suite, a lot of the stuff, like a lot of the questions I get are where do people need to be and when? When are they expected in photos? I have no problem talking about that. I think and I'm going to go to a wedding that you second shot for me. I think you know where I'm going on this one, where we had arrived and within 15 minutes, there were these massive expectations on the mother and father of the groom for very particular photos.
Yes.
And the expectation was that they're going to be included in a lot, that they're going to be with the groom all day, that they're going to be pinning his boutonniere off and all this sort of stuff. And
Expectations that we did not set.
expectations we didn't set. We also had a block of time for groom photos.
Yeah.
But it was almost like an attack in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know you. I've never met you before. I'm going to come up to you and you are not prioritizing my son in this getting ready process. And you prioritize the bride over him. And there was a dump of emotional trauma on, you don't think my groom is important. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just meeting you. Like, we have a block of time. Like, we were absolutely, like, it was just sort of like, wow. It was overwhelming. It was honestly really overwhelming.
And I think that, like, okay, so to solve that is, it's kind of like with any other conversation. If you do not have gaps filled, people are going to fill the gaps in their brain. So if you are
That's
not
true.
communicating and saying, hey, mom and dad, when you guys get here, we're not going to have photos for a while, but you do need to come. You need to be ready. Your photos are at this time.
Now, who's telling you that?
I feel like that either needs to be the couple or the planner.
What about day before? Like, are we thinking
Ooh,
pre-wedding? Like, because one of the things I really like is when they give me their family photo list. I'm the one that likes the list. I like the list. I want you to think about it. I want you to write it out. And I really want that sent out. So I feel like that could be a plan, but also like, could
Maybe
be you.
probably
Like,
the
hey,
couple.
Mima, I need you here
Hey,
right
girl,
after.
hey. And I feel like you are, as the couple, like, I'm communicating with my family directly right now in general. So like, we created, because I am so big on like overly communicating, we created like a 5-page PDF that's like basically any question that you could have about the wedding.
Oh, okay.
Like, what to pack, what to bring, what food are we gonna do? Like, what actually is the timeline of the weekend? Like, where to be at what time?
Yeah.
Because it is a little bit bigger than just like the day of. But I think just to have like if you have any question, look in this guide and like, we can communicate, but from this point on until the wedding day itself, like,
Right.
any questions you have are right here in this beautiful.
Yes, but it is nice to go, like, sometimes some of my favorite people are like that really helpful bridesmaid, and you're like, oh my gosh, please go. Like, they know everybody. They've been in the family. Like, they're not even a family member, right? But they're like,
they know who everyone is.
there goes Sam and Dad, and
They're
he's at the
always so
bar.
helpful, like during like family photos too. They're like, we got you.
Yes.
And I'm like, thank you, because I don't know who cousin Jimmy is.
Right.
Like, I have no clue. It's just like, yeah, I got you.
I gotcha. And then she goes to get Jimmy and then brings him up and over. Okay. Yeah, we like
I
those.
think like,
But also
communicating.
are you over communicating with that bridesmaid then? Like, hey, I need you to help me as the bride.
Yeah, I think so. I think you just need to like, or not to point out certain people in your family, but I do think that you know your family better than anyone.
Yeah.
I know, okay, if I have a cousin that is just at every family function, she is the loudest and she is in the front row and is trying to orchestrate and have her hands in everything.
Yeah.
I feel like it is my responsibility as the bride who knows that person and knows those characteristics to tell everyone who will be interacting with her, hey, this may be, we love Aunt Linda, but Aunt Linda is always in the front and she's going to be the first one to grab the mic and she's going to be standing there during our portraits. She's going to want to really be involved.
I will say, like, not that we want, like, I sent out a questionnaire, who are your family dynamics, family photo list, like, one bridesmaid's name. And at the bottom, I'm like, any tea. And it's not to get in y'all's business. But it really is like, I'm going to be interacting with all these people. And I've had, times where there, nothing gets filled out, but I arrive on a wedding day and I can see that the groom's sister is not included in anything. And there's a very standoffish thing. He doesn't talk to her a whole lot. Yeah. And so I'm like, how much are we bringing her involved into it?
And I don't want to overstep and make it awkward.
Yeah. And then to find out, like, I'm thinking of one very specific where there was a schizophrenic bipolar sister. Yeah. And it's like, it would just been nice to know, like, not that you had to like give me all her HIPAA information, all that sort of stuff, but it's like,
just so we know.
see it, like we see it.
It's the same way with divorced parents or anything, any family dynamic. I'm like, and probably for me, I'm like, there's probably things that I would not think are problems. And I'm like, oh, it's just my family. That someone from the external view is like, holy heck, like I wish I would have known. Like, you know, even if it's just like, we're a loud Italian family and everyone is just boisterous and wanting to grab you, like, set boundaries, Brittany, like, it's okay. Like, you're not going to hurt our feelings. Like, any little bit of information is really, really helpful.
But also I think it's helpful to be like, hey, like my grandparents are there, or great grandparents, they're very elderly, or mom is in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Like, so I just know there's no standing. We're doing those first family photos. That's who's getting done and over with first. Like, just those. So yeah, the T on the family, but in a, how can we better assist you in assisting them throughout the day?
It may feel like silly communication, but truly, again, like overly communicating is like chef's kiss. Okay. So I think that another thing that I hear, not complaints about, but just that people are dealing with are, oh my gosh, we only have a guest count max of 150 people, and mom and dad brought us a whole rollout list of all the people that they feel like we should invite, and that adds up to 120 people. And we're like, hey, mom and dad, that doesn't work. What's the advice there? What do you think? Did you have this?
No.
Okay, good.
But there were people that I didn't know, like, that were really big in my husband's life, that were from like his church. So we got married in a church in his hometown, and then we did a venue in downtown Nashville. And so he was really like, I was very clear, like, you're going to do your list, I'm going to do mine. We're going to merge it together and see where that fits. And luckily, we really weren't having to cut out a lot of people. It was just like, if my mom was watching this, like, she knows it was the very first time before, like, my parents were going to be seeing each other after they got divorced. And we just knew that potentially my uncles on her side were not, they probably weren't going to be able to travel that far. But my dad's going to be there. I know there was a little, you know, it was just like, we just can't invite some people here and there. So if we were going to be cutting, we both recognized where that was coming from. And it wasn't coming from like, I don't like you standpoint. It was like, maybe another event later down the road where we all get together could work. This event is just not going to be it. So we didn't. I mean, do you feel pressure?
No. No, actually, like, our family has been incredible and like been very much like, yeah, this is your guys' day. Like, these are people that we feel like maybe are a good idea. I don't know, but also we understand. Because you guys, everyone knows my saga with like the guest list. And so it's like been like, hey, we don't have a lot of people as an allowed thing. I think that if I could give any advice to someone, because I do feel like that happens a lot, where it's just like this, like,
there's like,
what do I do here? And again, when we tie back in the financial side, if you have mom and dad writing you a $40,000 check and they want to invite their boss, they need to be able to invite their boss, in my opinion. I don't know how you feel. I would have said probably a couple years ago, no, it's your wedding. You do whatever the heck you want. You tell them it's my wedding. I invite who I want. Now I'm like, that's really only working if you are only the one paying for it.
I think it's just that managing expectations, right? It's like a little teeter-totter, you know, like, no, mom, you can't invite 50 people, but, you know, we appreciate the gift, you know, have it come in. On a photo side thing, though, you know, sometimes when I leave weddings and I see all these people on the dance floor, I'm like, I don't know who they are. I don't know how close you are to them. And should I be taking pictures of this person? Are they just your like best friend's newest boyfriend who happens to be here? Is this your mom's boss? Like, are these pictures that you're going to want to have or keep or whatever? Like, so I always wonder, I'm like, who is it I'm actually taking photos of all the time?
Are the people going to like look at the gallery and be like, why'd you take so many of like John? Like, he's only been dating Melissa for like,
and we're like, we don't know John.
I have no idea.
I don't know. John was a delight on the dance floor.
So John was doing the worm on the middle of the floor. Of course, I'm going to take photos of him.
So, you know, that to me is always like, I mean, there's a give and take. I don't think we can be fully, and maybe this is one that I was like, no, it's your wedding day, you can do whatever you want, versus like your guests are not background actors, are not here to just, surround you without any preferences or any treatment towards them at all. There is a balancing, and no matter what we say, there's going to be some sort of balancing act. So, whatever works for you. I say if it really is something that is just making you really uncomfortable, there's just trauma or issues or PTSD, I don't know, whatever you want to frame it as, then there's got to be a hard line, but allow maybe some.
I like the going back and forth, like, no, mom, you can't do 50, but maybe like 15.
Yeah.
Or like
right.
20 at max.
Yes.
Like, totally understand. Of course, you're going to want your people there. And we're both parents.
Yes.
Like one day when my child gets married, that is a celebration as well as, yes, it's his friends, but like, I raised this child, and there are people that I do life with that I know one day will want to celebrate
them growing
him.
up. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I have more of an empathy side now as a parent where I'm like, I kind of get it.
Yeah,
I understand.
Like I think when I was a long time ago, I was like, oh, well, you could just go elope my daughter and run off. I'm like,
actually.
I know you're an adult, but could we maybe? So
I get it. I have so much more empathy now.
Yeah, it's delicate. It really is. But I think it's there should be a conversation coming from both the parent and the couple that is constructive. Yeah. Right. There shouldn't be full demands on, well, you give me money and now nothing happens, and then the other way around, I gave you money, now there has to be an adult conversation in the room.
And if you can't, then truthfully, we don't have any advice. I don't have any advice of like, if you have this like relationship and you're not going to come to a middle ground.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know what to say.
I don't know. Probably eloping would have been the best thing.
Actually, no, run off to the mountains. Bye.
And cancel your wedding. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I think either accept that this is what it is. This is part of having an event with your parent who is in this dynamic with you. As sucky as that is, I think that there's also cases, this is going to be a really bold statement. I'm like scared to say it.
Okay.
I do think that there are cases though, where your family is just your family and you are not your family in that moment. They are an external piece of you that are also attending, and you just got to do the best that you can. Like that's really it. You're not going to be able to change your family overnight. You're not going to be able to change the way they communicate if they're not able to have those conversations with you. Then I'd say that.
And then, then you and your spouse need to be on the same board with that, understanding that, fill in your vendors, ride the tide. Tell your vendors. Yeah.
Okay. Going back to like the buffer person or like kind of the timeline pinpoint person. Yeah. I do think that there's kind of like a chaos coordinator or like a buffer where like, I won't name names, but I have a friend who has a very like unpredictable mother-in-law who like stands up at funerals and gives speeches unpredictably, like just does socially unpredictable behavior. Okay. So of course at their wedding, they were concerned that like, what's going to happen? They literally had a pinpoint person that was in charge of just managing her mother-in-law's behavior. Oh. And this is not the norm. I'm not going to say
no. I wouldn't say that's
the most extreme circumstance. Their concern was, oh my gosh, we can't predict what she's going to do. We want her there because this is his mom, but we just still need to be careful. Having a person that's like, hey, will you just do me a solid and please just be the buffer here? That's like the most extreme. The middle ground and probably what's normally normal is like, can I have a pinpoint person that can make sure that my family is not just like walking around or is still not dressed, or if I know that they're not going to pay attention to the timeline and I just know my family, maybe have a cousin or have a friend or like a close family friend that basically is your sibling, someone who's familiar enough with them that it's not going to be a slap in your family's face of like, I need a babysitter. But
that's true.
But like truly having a facilitator person that you're like, I know I don't have to worry about this because I have this person.
But then also like this touches back to when we were talking about like the getting ready part of the morning where we are also communicating what's happening next. Like hey, we're going to go get these details, and why don't you guys just clean up the room, and hey, mom, we're going to get you dressed in the meantime, whatever. Okay, now we're going to go take the bridesmaids. We have 45 minutes, so that's when we're going to be back, and we'll have everybody. Does anybody need anything? So I really do try, especially if the parents are dressed or there's family members or grandparents. I'm like, I'm giving you, actually, I'm just filling you in on what the timeline has been.
You're not clueless.
But, just for a refresher. Everyone needs a good refresher.
Everyone needs a good refresher. And people get into the day. Most people don't have their watch on or their phone. They don't know what time it is. Like, I have a lot of grace. So, like, just having a facilitating presence.
Yes.
That's not, your planner is setting up your tables and doing all these things. I don't want to keep being like, your planner can do it. Your planner can do it. Sorry, planners. Your planner can also do it. Yeah. But, like, maybe some roles that genuinely are not like, your planner is not going to be in the bridal suite the whole time.
Well, and and as soon as I say that, sometimes people come up, I can think of weddings like, hey, we know their seating chart, or hey, something's going on at the bar. Who do I need to talk to? I'm like, that person person over there. So I could imagine if we have a lot of parent expectations or guest expectations and things like that happening to us, I can only imagine the amount of questions that are also going towards a planner. So, having another buffer, having somebody else, like the constant, what's happening. So just,
overly communicate. And don't put it all on one vendor. Don't expect, maybe I should say this, don't expect for your planner or a vendor to fill in those communication gaps for you. You should be able to like hand off and say like, these are the expectations for you. And like, hey, we're going to be taking family photos after the ceremony. Don't go to the bar. Don't leave the property. Maybe.
Which is always so funny because I love the parents and the grandparents, and they're ready to roll. They've been ready to roll since 8 a.m. Right? And they're wondering when photos are. And then when it's actually time to take photos,
they're nowhere to be found.
They are like mingling. They're living their best life. I'm like, can you just, this is the time, like right now. And then I want to let you go and get your drinks. It's just so funny.
I literally, on my questionnaire, I specifically tell my couples, tell your parents when it is that they tell whoever is on this list that they will be in photos. If you are having a cousin be in photos, tell them.
Please.
And I love like being in different scenarios for weddings. I just went to my uncle's wedding last weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And I am his niece. So truthfully, I didn't know if we were going to be in family photos, but I told Q, I was like, we're going to stand off to the side and we're not moving anywhere because we are technically family. And if we get called, my butt is going to be right
I am not going to be that person.
It will not be me. And guess what? We were in the photo. Ta-da! And what happened is my Uncle Brian looked around, he saw me, he was like, oh, Brittany and Q, and where's your cousin Alex? Let's grab Alex. And like, it became like, we want now this big family photo.
If you have the time, absolutely.
So if your family, stay near. And if you're a couple, like tell your family if they're going to be in photos. So
I will tell anybody that's also listening, like the family photo time is a time where I want it done, over with. It's absolutely important. You absolutely need to do it. But we will rock these bad boys out because I know you want to go mingle. I know they want cocktail hour. I know they want to go see their friends, right? Like they're ready to, your family is also ready to party.
They're so excited.
Well.
They've been excited for this too. I feel like we could do a whole episode on just family photos.
That will absolutely be happening on what to do and what not to do.
But I feel like that is probably the biggest involvement of all of your family on the day of. Like everyone needing to be at attention together is family photos. And again, it's just communication. I mean, communicate. Write it down for your photographer. Name names. And
I like the list. I like the list.
Jamie and Andrew and Malachi and and like these are all the people in this shot. Great, next. And like I don't forget anyone that way. And
then if you want to add people after, I always again catering to your family members or whatever. Mom, are we missing anything? Dad, are we missing anything?
Is there anyone else?
Grandma, are you good to go? Like how we rolling. Of course, contingent on time and weather and stuff like that. But
for sure. But like look around. Is there anyone else here? We really do try to like consider your family. So family's chaotic. Families also like can bring the life of the party. Like we love families.
Oh my gosh, you could be like when we have, so let's segue into like toasts or things of that sort, or like the dances, right? When you nail, like when your dad nails the best toast ever. And it's hilarious
crying.
and it's tearful and it sets the tone. That's great. And then you've got your mom who's just sitting over there and she's just giggling and laughing and it's amazing. And then we're going into these dances and we've got the fun ones and we've got the sappy ones and we've got the ones where you guys are just trying to bebop it together and nobody can catch a beat for the life of you. You know, it's delightful. Like, it really is fun. I mean, especially like, as we said, we're both parents. So seeing this grow up, it's like, I do see myself watching my husband dance with our daughter and I want then the vendors that are there to understand that moment, right? It is important, right? It's not like, oh, just whatever, like parents, it's not your wedding day, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, man,
This is someone's
like, this
parent.
is huge.
This is someone's parent that raised that child. I mean, like, or it's or if it's not a parent, it is someone that was special enough to have this dance with
Like the
them.
step parents,
Like, truly.
right? Because you have Q,
Truly.
who's there with your son.
I had a wedding several years ago where her dad was not in the picture, and I think there were like a total of 3 different guys that basically like helped raise her. And it was like a very communal, like family thing. And they played one song and each man like stepped in and like had portions of the dance with her. I mean, and it was just like everyone's sobbing. Because like they all had raised her from like a child. And it was just like, oh my gosh, the significance of all the hardship that you go through, all the things, like everything comes to this moment where you're sitting with your child and dancing, and it's like their biggest
and
day.
that's the stuff like at the end of that form, like anything we need to know about, man, like 1, 2, 3, like my stepdad's walking me down the aisle, but I have another parent that I want to do the dance with or whatever. And not that of course we're not going to capture it, but like you understand the context of it all. And I don't know why that just makes being a photographer so much easier and better when you understand the dynamics and the relationships that are happening. Like, of course, we're going to take the picture of it, but now you know that that step parent is connected to this person. So in the background, I can find that person as they're watching this dance, and then knowing, okay, well, we're only going to get like a minute of this before this next person comes in. So I've got to get all those
juice.
real quick, and then I'm ready for the next person to come in. So like understanding that whole dynamic. And I would say, again, we're going to just beat this dead horse, but like over communicate. Like, hey, you got a questionnaire, and after you fill it out, or even if things change before the wedding day, shoot me an email like, hey, can we have a quick call? Absolutely. Like, fill me in on the details, girlfriend. Like,
no one wants
let me
to
know.
miss anything. It is truly like I can't speak for every photographer, but for most, it is not our intention to miss anything or to not be emotionally connected to a moment. So like, I think for me, if I feel emotionally connected to something, or if I have context, gosh, I mean, I think naturally we just create a little differently, and we see it through an empathetic lens a little bit, instead of like capturing and anticipating moments. I am feeling it with you. I'm like crying behind the camera sometimes.
No, seriously,
like,
there was one, I'm like, I barely know these people. Oh my gosh, I am sobbing at the song. Like, you can feel it.
Yeah, I mean, same with mother-son dances. I like every time just cry, and I'm like, oh, one day it's going to be Wyatt, and it's going to be like, oh, it's fine. I'm trying to think of, another element that I will say too is, I think that like with speeches or having reception spaces for your parents or family members to show up, I think that like, again, overly communicating what their role is and what the expectations of speeches are. Not giving a 55-minute speech or whatever. Like,
because I don't know if anybody, if you listened to the last episode, there was a 54-minute toast that our DJ talked about. I couldn't imagine 54 minutes of just talking.
I also couldn't talk for 54 minutes.
No, I mean, we kind of have been a little bit here, maybe.
Fine.
But like communicating toasts. Yeah, I would not be dropping, hey, in 1 week, I need you to do a toast, brother.
Right.
Like, those are the ones.
I would give some notice.
Yes, absolutely. And if nobody wants to give a toast, please don't force them to do that. Maybe have a different item. Maybe you guys give the toast. Maybe you write something down. Maybe you have somebody read something that you want to write. Like, there's so many different ways to engage people without forcing people to do something they don't want to do. And that doesn't mean that they don't love you, but we've seen
may not want to.
Public speaking is terrifying. Yeah. And sometimes you'd rather have no toast than a I'm just happy for you, and
Well,
I
I'm
don't have
glad.
anything else to say. Like,
Someone gave me this microphone.
is this thing on? We're like, oh gosh, okay, Uncle Jimmy. So, that would be, yeah, but we love that stuff. Those are the things that make wedding days, right? Like the pinning the boutonniere on,
Yeah.
the hanging with your sister, your brother, dancing with your best friend on the dance floor, like a really good toast from your mom and dad. Like those are the things that you're going to talk about. It's not going to be what you think it is. Like my grandmother was there, after the death of my grandfather, and there's one photo of her and I just chatting before the wedding day. I'm like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
So
Truly.
yeah.
I don't want an overly produced thing sometimes. I really just want like natural.
Yes.
Like, yeah. And I can speak like my brother's my man of honor. And
Yeah.
he was like, do I have to give a speech? Like, I really don't want. I'm like, no, you don't have to give a speech. Like, it's not a requirement. I want you to, but
I want you to want to do that.
but also like, I don't know. I think going outside of the box a little bit with your family is fun too. And
Yes.
being like, it actually doesn't have to look, you don't have to do parent dances if you don't want to.
No, you can do them side by side
You can
too.
do it side by
sometimes.
side. Yep. Or like half song and then transition to another one. I've seen that. It opens up the dance floor. I just feel like you can get out of the box a little bit, but your family is important.
Yeah.
And whether that is like biological family or chosen family,
That's true.
like your family and your close friends are important and they have loved you through your whole life and they deserve a spot on your wedding day.
Yeah,
But
I think maybe just like to round out. I mean, do you have any other notes or
I don't
anything
think so.
else
I think
that you
that's
saw?
basically it. I think that like, yeah, just communicate,
Yeah.
communicate.
And maybe just to round this out, because maybe in some of the past episodes, like a lot of behavior that we find problematic through the day does come from other people. But some of it really does. It's stressful. But then the ones where you have the family that's sharing stories and telling you about this or that, and they bring you in these like inside jokes, and then they are not background actors, but everybody talks about like documentary or candid photos. Those come from the interaction of the people around you too, right?
Yeah.
So, when we're doing fun dance floor shots or like twirls on the dance floor, or that really amazing walkout with your stepdad down the aisle, those all involve the participation of other people, right? So invite who you want, be prepared for personalities that come through, be prepared for dynamics that happen before the wedding and on the wedding day. And hopefully when the wedding day gets there, like, you're just embracing it with your people. Like what's going to happen is going to happen.
And it is your day, but it also is kind of their celebration too.
Yeah.
Like to open up your heart and like open up your empathy a little bit. And I'm saying this as a reminder genuinely to myself too, because I get so in the zone of like making it all logistically happen and it's my wedding and it's Q's
It's
wedding.
happening next month.
And so it's like, but actually this is something that our parents are looking forward to and our friends are looking forward to. And you're so excited for it.
Yeah. I mean, literally, like my
know what I
daughter
mean?
is like a tween and I'm like thinking about her wedding day. So yeah, we've been thinking about it since her birth to whenever. So,
So honoring those people and not just seeing it as your lens point, I think is my like bride to planning couple advice is like, it is your day, but it also is like all the people that you love. It's like their celebration of you and their celebration of their participation in your life too.
Yeah. So the wedding day is not about
you.
Not about you. Asterisk. Okay. It's a good end one.
It's a great one.
Yeah. Peace, peace. Bye.